Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 career mode for the Bahrain Grand Prix today. So, last time out in Australia we didn't quite manage to score points, but we were relatively close. Kvyat did though, so hopefully we can match that today and get into the top 10. That starts now in qualifying Q1. We're just finishing off our lap here. We got a good slipstream along the final two straights from Nicholas Latifi. So that will safely secure us through into the next session, gaining a lot of time there in the slipstream of the Williams car. Puts us P5 overall. Obviously that is a much elevated position over where we should be relatively, so Q2 will be a lot more indicative. Kvyat also gets through down in P13, so that shows you the time that we gained. So Q2, and as I said, this one will be much more telling regarding our overall pace. So hopefully we can get around 13th or 14th. That's around where the pace of our car is. Any higher than that will be a huge bonus. So let's see what we can do on this lap. This is actually our second flying lap on our second set of tyres in this session. You can see we are improving though, a green first sector. So we are looking good to potentially improve on our time enough to get through. We need a few tenths, and we are on target for the time being. And let's see how we can handle. We go a little bit wide onto this kind of back straight, but not losing a terrible amount of time. We are still green by a few tenths on our overall delta, so we just need to get this last sector together, and we will probably improve by enough to get through into the next session. So what can we do through this last sector? We run wide though through the penultimate corner, or the third to last corner rather, and it costs us a bunch of time, lost a few tenths there. So now we are only marginally ahead of our initial time, and it won't be a big enough improvement as we come towards the line. But where will we start? P13. We don't even improve on our initial position. So P13 for us. Kvyat qualifies down in P15. He gets out qualified by the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Räikkönen, so he clearly didn't get the lap together the way he would have liked to either. So yeah, a bit of an unfortunate qualifying for us. I think we both could have done a bit better. I lost about a tenth and a half or just under compared to my previous lap in the last sector. So even with that, we may not have been able to improve into Q3 or even up another row on the grid. So yeah, there wasn't really a lot we could have done there, just didn't quite have the pace of the cars ahead. So we'll just have to try to make amends for it in the race and see if we can potentially score some points in the Bahrain Grand Prix.
The stage is set for another enthralling race here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. A Ferrari stronghold in years gone by, but will they be able to add to their record today? We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Vettel, Alexander Albon, and Perez, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sainz, and Lando Norris, Ocon, Stroll, the scientist, and Raikkonen, Kvyat, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi. Grosjean, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. In terms of strategy, going to be a two-stop softs to two sets of medium tyres. Not going to touch the hard tyres, I don't think. They seem quite slow on the strategy there. So let's get into it. as we go to the 5 red lights. And the lights are out. We are underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's a great start versus Lance Stroll and Esteban Ocon. We go to the left-hand side and we fly past both of them. Norris goes to the inside of Ricciardo, Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, who are going 4 wide into the first corner, and that's only going to cause a bit of contact with Sebastian Vettel in a bit of trouble there as well. We just about avoid contact with him as we get pinched on the apex. Here comes Lando Norris back at us down the inside as we head towards turn 4 for the first time, and Norris is going to try and squeeze ahead. We're going to try and hold the line around the outside of the McLaren, but Norris will just about hold on to that position, and we drop back down into 8th position. But it's been a great start for us in this race. We've gained a lot of positions through the chaos in the first corner. Always a very tight one here in Bahrain.
We like to see at the start. Well done.
And we've managed to get away with it here and come away quite a way ahead of where we started. We gained 5 positions through the first corner, so that is an absolutely fantastic start. Now let's see if we can hold on to these points that we have for the rest of the race. It will be very difficult with the cars around us. We've got Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc behind us. They'll both be very, very quick in this race, so we'll have to watch out for them. But we'll see what we can do. But for now, we have survived the first lap of the race with our front wing intact and in a decent position. So we just need to push on and do the best we can in this race, because we could be on for a very good one. Bahrain is always a circuit I've typically done well at, so let's hope that we can continue that form here today. So as we continue on though, Sergio Perez down the inside into the final corner. We try and hold it around the outside, but we ran ourselves off the road. The AlphaTauri not having the same amount of downforce there as the Racing Boy. Now here comes Leclerc, and they're going to go side by side as we head towards the first corner. Leclerc is going to get through on Sergio Perez. We tried to have a look, but Perez making a move on his own as Leclerc locks up, but they stay as they are. Leclerc now in 8th position, Perez in 9th. We drop down into 10th position, but now crucially we have the DRS from Sergio Perez, and that actually tows us on in this race for quite a while. And also need to watch out for Danny Kvyat behind, because he has been flying at this stage in the race as well. We get on the curb though, go for a huge slide into the last sector. We managed to save it. Kvyat gets through, but that is an unbelievable save, and thankfully we did not end up in the wall. That is so easy to do, but somehow we managed to keep it out of the wall and keep it under control. Kvyat did a good job to avoid any incident there, jumping on the brakes and continuing on his way. So yeah, a lucky escape for both of us there. That could have taken us both out of the race if we made contact, but lucky Kvyat was well aware of the situation, and we can both continue on. But that's going to drop me out of DRS range of any of these cars, so yeah, that's really unfortunate there. And
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
yeah, we just need to do the best job we can now. The car didn't really feel the same after that. I think the tyres just got roasted, so it wasn't great. But anyway, we'll trudge on in this race and see what we can do. That was Lance Stroll getting past us, and now we've got Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo.
Okay, the gap behind is 2.9 seconds.
But Ocon goes blazing past along the straight. Nothing we can do about that. And Ricciardo is up next behind us. He is, I think, along with a few other cars, potentially on a 3-stop in this race. So that will be interesting. Also Danny Kvyat on a 3-stop. So then maybe that's why he's going so quickly now, because he has to make an extra stop in this race. But into the pits we go for our first stop, and we'll see where we come out, and that will be more representative of our racing position once everyone else makes their stop.
Go. You'll be racing on the exit. Complete. Go now.
But I've had enough of those soft tyres. Onto the mediums. These are generally much better racing tyres. That's Latifi going past. We've got
Stay clear of the white line on the exit.
we've got Ricciardo behind us, so he has not gained from that early pit stop that I mentioned. He has another 2 to go. So
P18. P18, Latifi just ahead, push for position, they're on old softs.
So yeah, as we continue on though, dive on the Latifi into turn 4. We go way too deep though. Latifi with the switchback as we head towards the middle sector. This is going to be very tight if we're going to try and make the move here. Latifi is pinching us on the apex a bit, but we do manage to get through there, and we managed to get ahead of the Canadian, move ourselves up into 17th position. That was a little bit of a hairy moment there, but thankfully we managed to get away with it. We move on, and Daniel Ricciardo catches up to us. We're just going to let him past. We're not really in the same race.
We need to stay on form.
And my plan was that I'll just sit behind him like I did with Sergio Perez, and he will hopefully just pull me along. But I may have been wrong about him being on a 3-stop, but Kvyat definitely is, as Lance Stroll retires from the race with a mechanical failure. That is one less car we have to worry about, so that hopefully brings us closer to the points. We'll see what else transpires in this Bahrain Grand Prix. As we continue on though, we are struggling a little bit at this stage of the race, and that is Charles Leclerc,
He might make a mistake.
who is on the soft tyres. So yeah, as I said, bunch of different strategies going on in this race, and we are really not enjoying the one we are on at the moment. These medium tyres just aren't really working for me, and yeah, we're just struggling. That was one of the Alfa Romeos of Antonio Giovinazzi going past. He is on the softs at the moment, but anyway, continuing on, this is George Russell retiring from the Grand Prix, mechanical failure for him, and that won't cause any safety cars, unfortunately for us. That could have really mixed up this race if that did happen. But anyway, as we continue on, we do eventually make a run back at Antonio Giovinazzi as we head along the track to turn 4. To the outside we go of Antonio. We should be able to make this move, sweep around, a little bit of light contact, wheel to wheel there, but we should be able to get through here and get ahead of the Italian. We leave him a bit of space, but we move on ahead of the Alfa Romeo and back where I think we realistically should be ahead in this race. So that is one less car to worry about. Hopefully we can just push on and get away from him now as we continue on in this race, but hopefully
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
hopefully we can break the DRS, otherwise it's just going to be a bit of a pest for the rest of this race. But anyway, continuing on, we let our teammate past, same way with that Ricciardo passed. He's going faster at the moment. We don't need to be holding up Kvyat of all people in this race, so yeah, let's just try and follow him along. But since that time with Sergio Perez, it's never really worked. I've never been able to stay in DRS the way I was with Sergio Perez. And as you can see, when we come in for our pit stop, there's a world of clean air in front of us. So yeah, we just have no pace in this race. So I don't know why.
After these tyres now, we want to finish the race on this compound.
But it seems to be a running theme that I just have no race pace in anything recently. It's been very frustrating, but anyway, we'll work with what we've got, and right now we've got fresh tyres and a couple of slow cars in front of us, so maybe some overtaking to finally get done in this race as we gain and gain on Kevin Magnussen, and we go for a massive dive into the first corner, just avoid the back of Antonio Giovinazzi, and we make the move stick on Kevin Magnussen. That was a magnificent dive bomb, and somehow we managed to pull that off without smashing Giovinazzi, and we can see how deep on the brakes we were compared to Magnussen. And here's the onboard from Magnussen, just how much extra speed we carried into the corner, and managed to get the car stopped in the last moments there. We'll have an onboard now with Giovinazzi, and you'll see just how close we get to the back of the Alfa Romeo. That was a little scary, but thankfully we still have a front wing, as you can see another replay here, and yeah, that is about as close as you want to get when you're trying to do the dive bomb, but I had to get it done. Magnussen was being quite a pain. We just couldn't get past him when he had DRS, so we just needed to get that move done, and now this should be a much easier affair on Giovinazzi as we head along the straight. He moves about the way more or less, and we just stroll on past on the outside line, and now we can try to track down his teammate Kimi Räikkönen, who is a second or two up the road, and we should be catching up to him very, very shortly. So moving on as we head through the final corner right behind Kimi Räikkönen, and we should be able to get this move done along the straight. It's been a little bit harder to get close to Räikkönen. He's been very good through the middle sector, and yeah, it's been a little bit trickier to try to get closer. Räikkönen defends. We have a look to the outside, but at this point we're just going to sit behind. We weren't quite close enough to comfortably make the move, so Räikkönen holds on to the position for now, and we'll just stay close enough for another opportunity later on. So here we go into the last corner, taking a bit of a wide line there on entry, trying to carry the speed, missed the apex a bit, but this time we should be able to get it done. We're actually a little bit further back, I think, than before, but we will just have to send it as we head towards the first corner. So let's see if we can get it done as we go down the inside of Räikkönen. Bit of contact made, but we get the move done and move ourselves up into 13th position ahead of the Iceman. Here is the replay. Dart to the inside of the last minute. I'll be completely honest, I didn't even intend to make the move. I just found I was going a little bit deep into the corner, and kind of just turned into an overtake. So that is, it worked out well for us there, as we were going to be stuck behind him for another lap otherwise. We had to barge him out the way a little bit, but to be fair, I think we were far enough ahead of him to make the move stick in any case. But continuing on, we've now got Hamilton behind us, trying to put us a lap down, as Kvyat is a fair distance ahead of us and only getting further away. But anyway, we let Hamilton through, but he actually makes a bit of a mistake between turns 1 and 2, and we've got a run on him. So at this point I thought, screw it, we'll go for a run on Hamilton, see if we can get our lap back. Down the inside into turn 4, we race side by side with Hamilton as we head towards the middle sector with a Mercedes on our left hand side, and we're going to get through and move ourselves ahead of Lewis Hamilton and get our lap back. It's surely going to be short-lived, but I thought that was a very enjoyable little race there with Hamilton. But he gets down the inside here into the left-hander, and we can't fight back from here. He's got the DRS anyway, so yeah, that is that little battle over. But I'm sure he didn't enjoy it, but yeah, I certainly did, as we continue to march on in this race, heading towards the end of the race now. So at this point I'm just trying to set fastest laps to well, just for fun really. We don't currently have a rivalry to gain a rivalry point by doing that, but we can still push for
8.4 seconds
for personal best laps, and just see how they stack up against the rest of the field really. So this, I think, is one of our better laps, as we are around halfway through, and we've saved up the fuel and the ERS to deploy it all on this lap and see what we can do. We've got a green first sector, so we're improving at our own personal best, and obviously the medium tyres, they're not going to wear out too badly, so the tyre wear in terms of setting fastest laps won't be an issue. The fuel coming out of the car,
want to consider switching to a lower fuel mix. We may not finish on the current settings.
The fuel coming out of the car is going to outweigh the tyre wear anyway. On the mediums, a green middle sector, and with only a few very small corners to go, we should be able to improve on our fastest lap as we head towards the finish line. And it's a purple final sector, so we actually had some very, very good pace. The final sector is only 3 corners, but that is still great to see. Unfortunately for us, Hamilton goes and sets a fastest lap on the final lap of the race, a second and a half faster. So that shows how much pace we do not have in this car.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
But anyway, we come towards the line to finish in P13.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
not entirely disappointed with that. I think we couldn't have done too much better. Obviously, without the mistake, we could have maybe beat Kvyat, but he had the pace today.
Smiling faces on the pit wall after a superb win here at Sakir. And rightly so. What a brilliant effort from the whole team. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot. A well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So it's Lewis Hamilton who takes home the race win today. Valtteri Bottas brings home second place for a Mercedes 1-2 with Max Verstappen in third. No real surprises there, is there?
Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Carlos Sainz certainly wasn't someone to scoff about. His ability to follow race strategies throughout with pinpoint precision has to be commended.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Alright, thanks Crofty. So, that is it. That's the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Honestly, bit of mixed feelings about that. Actually driving the race, it was actually quite satisfying battling with Kimi Räikkönen especially. Had a good battle there, and obviously the battle with Hamilton, albeit we were a lap down, was a bit of fun along the way as well. There's all the crazy contact and collisions going through the first corner. Vettel, the Racing Points, the McLarens, the other Ferrari of Leclerc, all getting mixed up in all that, but we managed to go around the outside of a lot of them and gain 5 spots through the first corner. So yeah, that's worked out very, very well for us as we continued through the race. Though we just kept losing positions. It was the Racing Points went past, the Renaults, just, yeah, we lost a lot of time, I think, just with that spin. And yeah, I mean, you could see by how much faster Kvyat was on a slower strategy. Yeah, it just didn't work out for us today. We just didn't have the pace. I almost felt like we had damage, but I don't think we did. So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery, but anyway, we'll come back and fight stronger next time for, I think, the Vietnam Grand Prix. But other than that, we didn't actually apply any upgrades or really do anything after the race today. So I can sign off here and say thank you very much for watching to the end, and I will see you next time for, I think, the Vietnam Grand Prix is next. Thank you, and goodbye. Oops, I lied, I didn't upgrade to the MG UK durability.